June 22nd, 1984. This is Joe Todd. The following interview was recorded probably in 1956 in Ardmore, Oklahoma.
This is Marion Hanson. I'm going to interview Mrs. Mae Colman. Mrs. Colman, what year did you move here?
1987. No, 1887. 1887.
How old were you?
4 years old.
Would you tell us about it the night you came?
Well, we came in Ardmore on the 13th day of January. Got in Ardmore at 4 o'clock. Set up all night. In the hotel. John O'Neely was the decoy. Had a big stove with coal in it. The hotel didn't have no beds in it, no covering in it.
Well, how did you find Ardmore when you came here?
Cold and muddy. Cold and muddy. Cold and muddy.
Oh, would you tell us what it looked like? What kind of buildings they had?
Well, the buildings was just straight up in box paint, foot paint. Most of them just common box paint. The house, just a foot paint room, just made out of foot paint.
What was the first store here?
Oh, Frank Barron's and Bob's Dairy.
What kind of a store was it?
Dry good.
Would you tell me how you bought your flour and your sugar and?
Well, we bought ours mostly from Gainesville. Came over on the train. We bought the sugar by barrels. We bought the flour by barrels. We bought the coffee by 100-pound sacks. We bought beans for 100-pound sacks. We had our lumber brought over from Gainesville.
The lumber was from Gainesville?
Brought over from Gainesville. All of our furniture, when we come here, it was brought went to Gainesville and brought it over. Brought it from Gainesville. Everything was bought. Drawed water out of a big well. Big old well with 2 big buckets. Drawed up in one. That's the kind of water I had.
Did the people have a well like that on everybody's land? Was there one?
Yeah, everybody had one.
Did they have a big one in Main Street?
Yeah. Mud hole, the hogs were bothered in it on Main Street. Yeah, big well on Main Street, and there was hogs running right on Main Street. And
what was the first hotel?
I believe it was Cottage Hotel.
Would you describe it?
Well, it was a big, I guess it's about a 20-foot room with upstairs. And it had 4 beds upstairs and a kitchen downstairs. And so we went up to get a bed that night, and there was 4 beds, and it was such a cold night, you just had comfort and one quilt on, and there's 2 men in there, and they got all the covering, and they didn't have no covering on. Get that? Oh, come right out of the big city of Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, and we walked, it's 2.5 miles in for Papa's sisters. 2 miles.
That's what you lived on when after you moved here?
Mm-hmm. It was 2 miles. And they said they had came out here. It's between a mile the other side of Caddo Creek out here. And they built that house there. They come here 2 years before the year, but they come to Leon and then come back out. Fowler Street. And they built them houses, and they had fence, but the lost didn't have no. They didn't have no stock on cows. Well, we finally had fence. So we had cows and hogs just run anywhere. Ran just about anywhere. We went down there on Caddo Bottoms, and Mr. Ross said, go down and get all the hogs you want. And they'd have bristles up that high. They were in the morning, know how you trolling nothing anymore. We Papa built a fence and put them in, just put the 4 rail fences in, and put them in, and they just bite that fence like, just wild, like big old bristles. You've seen pictures in foreign lands, so they were that way. Papa did. That's where you got to start a horse. The old man had the horse all in those spots. And the old man often gave him Papa and we raised him and tamed him and had a horse. We had 100 heads.
Would you tell me who Alvy Roth was?
Alvy Roth, he was one of the first men in Ardmore, that's the settler. And he was raised down here on near Gainesville. He was one that wanted to own the land here, 700 ranch. Alvy Roth was. He had 3 girls and 2 boys. John, Walter, and Allison, and Tildy, and Emma.
Would you tell me how Walden Willie was shot? Did you?
I don't remember that. I don't know.
Did you know him?
No. I knew Buck Garrett very well, but they come in years and years and years. No, knew the first marshal was ever here. I can tell you who he was. United States Marshal, his name was Heck Thomas. My father come from Atlanta, Georgia, and they went to school with him.
Oh.
He come here, he come riding up to our house one night. One Stelman, United States Marshal. Heck Thomas. And the Galls here, Lee Galls and John Galls, they had they taken care of the old soldiers' home. John Galls here, and my father and him went to school in Georgia. And well, I don't know, there's so many old fellows. Yes, and we had to pay on a farm. You had to pay $5 to live here. $5. And we thought we was paying it to an Indian. See, this was Indian territory. It was 12 miles to his house, between Ardmore and Woodford. And here's 12 miles to our house. 12 miles out to our house, and 6 miles in. And he was just as black as any nigger in the world, but they claimed to be an Indian, and he was living with a white woman. And they had a nice home there. And you had to pay him $5 to permit to live in Texas. And they proved him later to be an Indian.
Would you tell us about the first picnic they had in Ardmore?
Well, I'll share the first picnic that I remember. Of course, I guess I was a small person. I was here after, and it was right down here on North Street, right down here in Littleton. Right down in there.
What did it celebrate?
Well, they had a dance hall, and just danced, and just sat around and talked and laughed. Blister, my goodness alive. Stayed all day, come in wagons for you, all that.
That's how the people got here?
Of course, later we had buggies, it was all wagons. And I can tell you the first hardware man was here, Will Moore. We bought our Papa bought his first wagon for Will Moore. We used the old man's wagon out there. But Papa bought his big new wagon. Will Moore. His folks visited.
About how many horses did most of the people own?
Oh, well, no, we didn't have any, but Rolfe had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. I don't know. They were just everywhere. And I can tell you what the band was. J.R. Was a J.R. And then just a rocking, just like a rocker on a rocker and chair, you know. And there was a B, just a big B laying on me. There over here on the other. Rocking big there. That's the horses. And I forget what they had cows. What's the cows? But I forget what they bring to me. Cows. Oh, and the grass was as high that you could ride on a horse and be on a horse riding, and the grass was high as you were sitting on a horse.
Were most of the people farmers?
Uh-huh. Of course, in town they began to come in those stores, you know, but there was most farmers. Every farmers.
What did people do for entertainment?
Well, didn't do anything. Wasn't nothing to do. Wasn't nowhere to go and wasn't to do. Of course, we came over here to town to church, and then we went to Springer to church. Now, Springer was coming. The Springer, well, let's see, I don't know how old. We went to Springer. I went to Springer to school, and it was They finally built 2 schools there. When I first went there, just had one little box house when we first come there. And post office. And my uncle, my cousin, had post office there, and my uncle had a house.
What about the post office
They
here?
got here. Now, I don't remember about that post office here. I sure don't. But I can tell you first, the undertaker was here. I remember that.
Well, we'd like to know.
Now, some things, I just hadn't thought of, And, well, J.S.B. Apollos. J.S.B. Apollos. That's the first undertaker.
Where did he have his set up at?
It's up on Main here. Papa bought 2 little rocking chairs for him. He had my sister and I, Laura.
What did most of the people that in town that weren't farmers, what did they do for jobs?
Well, they had one of them little stores in. Look out, see what it is. Be careful.
How much were the average wages?
Well, do you know when I first knew anything about wages, 50 cents a day for a man's work. 50 cents a day.
Well, was that that was the lowest they got?
For a month, 50 cents a day for working.
What did the people get if they hired out to the ranches, the farms for work?
Well, that was farm work. I don't know what to pay for ranch. But I know 50 cents a day for farming. I know we paid that for years and years and years. My father had lots and lots of things. We had a mile square up over there. And we paid 50 cents. And some of the colored people, we didn't pay anything on just give them a dinner or give them a piece of meat. What is that?
Did the hired hands stay on the farm where they were working all the time?
Mm-hmm. And these ranch boys, these ranchers, they had a house. We cooked for them, but they had their own room. It might be across the yards. They had their own beds and bedclothes, They never come around on come and meet me back to their own room. Saddle their horses and go.
Who owned the biggest ranches around here?
Well, Rolfe had a big ranch, and Washington's had one down out here by Marion, and what was that other name? What was that other name? It was clear. Thompson, I believe. I know Washington had. You say talk louder. Mm-hmm. Well, Washington and I forget that other one. Rolfe and Washington. Kreiner had a ranch too. Kreiner had a ranch.
Do you remember anything about the first fire department?
No, I don't know who they were. Don't remember the first fire department. Now, our first college was Hargrove College. Our first college. And that college was over here on D Street, between D and 11th Avenue. D and E over. Head front down. That was Hargrove College.
What kind of grade schools did they have?
We paid $1 for our grade schools. That's the schools we had. We had to pay $1 a month for teachers. Pay $1 a month for everyone.
What kind of lessons?
Well,
did
we
you
had reading and writing, and we had grammar and history and geography. Well, now I can tell you where one school I went to, and George Lasse's wife went to the same one on Harvey Lasse's wife. We went to with a stool, a big log room on dirt floor. We went to that one time.
What seasons did you go? Did you go just in the wintertime?
Yeah, then about 3 months a year, 3 or 4 months in a year. Of course, we didn't have summer school. Sometimes we would hire our hands to where to give somebody to teach.
Did very many people go to school then?
Well, of course, there wasn't so many here, but the children went, yes. People for sure had the children went. Of course, you take a house from 12 miles apart, there wasn't many kids to go to school. Yeah, I went to school. We all went, and Papa wanted to send us to Sherman to college, and Papa wanted to school.
Do you remember anything interesting that ever happened to you while you were going to school?
I used to be, I barely lived by myself. I used to be pretty good in speaking. I used to speak quite a bit. And I used to be in dialogues and different, all the plays I was in. I was in one play, I know that I was Rose. That was a leading flower of the play. I was in lots and lots of plays. I like geography. Oh, I love geography. I like history.
Did you go to school here in Ardmore at all?
I never go to school here in Ardmore. I went to Springer High School. No, I moved to town late. But when I was growing up, I didn't go to school here. I was in and out of town here. We was in town every week and every 2-3 times a week. But I didn't go to school here. But my children was all.
You say you came to town every once in a while, every week. Is that to do the regular trading?
Yes, we just come to come to town and come to go to Gainesville to get stuff, We go. They come. So you take a notion to come. Of course, nothing else. Just take several hours to come in the wagon.
What was the most popular shopping day then?
In terms of taking a notion.
Well, I mean, like some places, Saturday night is a big time.
Well, we never went out that night. We never went to buy anything. We never went to buy anything at night at all. No, there's always at home at night. There was nothing to do at night at all. Of course, now my growing up after later years, we had little wares, we had different things to go with. And I first could remember those. There wasn't nothing to go to. Of course, we had shows, but we used to have a little rare. And that was speaking. Different people spoke on different subjects. Now that was very in the schools. We had that on dinner Friday night in school. That was about something like that. What it was. Singing and writing schools and singing schools and writing schools and arithmetic schools. I had a cousin that taught arithmetic school. I had one taught about singing school and writing school.
What kind of books did you read?
Well, we had McGuffey's. Now, we had lots of nice books we bought here. We bought Path of Life, and I don't remember. We had lots of nice books that we bought from Atlanta. Papa had lots of nice books that we bought with us. It wasn't from here for us to buy. No, it was cheap stuff. But we bought lots of nice stuff here with us, because Papa always kept up with nice stuff. And we bought lots of nice books with us to read. If it hadn't been for that, we wouldn't have anything.
What kind of songs did you sing?
Well, now, honey, I don't remember. Of course, we used to, after we just like any other singing. Our old singing was just like any other singing,
Did groups of you used to get together and have sing?
Yes, we had songs and preaching, and that's my father had it in our house. We had it every night. We had our prayer and our songs every night. That was something we always had in our house at night. And my uncle had it too. Yes, when we'd all there together, we just sing and play. And one of us had organ. We had to play. We had music all the time, sing and play.
Did you have magazines then?
Yeah. There was no kind of a magazine whatever. And I'll tell you one thing. These funny books and these true stories, my daddy didn't allow in our house. We never had one in our house. No, they weren't allowed in our house. No, he got good books. And he bought good books after good books come in where you get them. But he didn't let cheap stuff, no. He didn't allow it, and we wasn't allowed to read a two-store or nothing like that when I was no. And my own girls didn't read them. We never had them. We weren't good books.
Did you ever travel to other towns?
Well, no, I went to Duncan, places like that. Duncan and Comanche, and I'll tell you something about the Indians. That was something about the Indians. Now, that was so. I went to Comanche, see my cousin. It went from, Springer went to Duncan. He was married to Duncan. We went over there when I was about 15 years old to a picnic at Duncan. And the Comanche Indians come in there, and they had the wigwam just all around out the edge of town. They come in there a week before. And so my papa and mom and I went up in a two-horse wagon and went for that picnic. And those Indians just settled all around there, and so Cousin Will had what they call a fair. It was a two-horse hack line. And we drove up there. Of course, she was married, so after we drove around all through the Indian camp, and there they could kill bees. They just killed whole bees, whole cows, and just turn them over to those Indians, and they'd sit down and eat them, just eat the entrails. It's just cut them. That's the thing you can eat. It's just to come out of the cow. Now that was honest because I seen it.
Did the people mostly have big families, or?
Well, not too big. We wasn't too big, of course. We wasn't too big. Now, my husband, Ed's father, Edna's father, they had 5 boys. 5 boys and 1 girl. And of course, we had 4. And my oldest sister came here 2 years later, and they went to Wellington, Texas, and he was a school teacher when he came here, and he bought the town of Wellington, Texas, and sold it in town. And he was the first clerk of court, and he was the first school teacher in Wellington, Texas. And it happened just like this Matthews case about that shooting. He was in the clerk's court and was on, in a trial, And of course, that's mad because he sat in the clerk and come in to shoot him, and they knew he was coming. And he shot the man because he was pregnant. He went to Mexico. He died. And just like Matthews, he was shot because he was coming in to shoot him, and he was they was expecting him coming to have trouble, and the gun, he was coming down there. He had his gun on him, and he down the side, and they left.
What kind of diseases?
Well, we had lots of typhoid fever later. Lots of typhoid fever and chills. And it began to break the land and cultivate it, and we had lots of typhoid fever and chills. And my father he had worked in a drugstore for years and years, and he come here. He could fix medicine just like a Martin and body. He bought medicine with him, and he went to Gainesville and got medicine. He issued medicine for years. All these charges was quinine and Colman and Dover's powders and I don't know, just different. British oil, that was for troops and colds and different things. That went off, but getting too hot. Get too hot.
Would you tell me about the churches they had here?
Well, we had the Methodist church was the most our church here. There was no Presbyterian church down here. The Methodist. Methodist was the most. Methodist, we had good churches. We had boys. We went to, there was Royal. We went in. Well, our churches, we had morning we had Sunday schools in about 9 o'clock. I think I've done told well, no, we had at 11 o'clock we had preaching, and then preached till 12. And then in the afternoon, lots of afternoons while we had 3 o'clock meetings, preaching again and singing for about an hour.
Do you have prayer meetings?
Yeah, we had prayer meetings on Wednesday night. We always had prayer meetings Wednesday night.
What did the churches look like inside?
Well, they just this plain box, just plain building, just made out of plain planks.
What were they like inside, though? What did you sit on? And...
We just had, they made seats just like up here at the start. It's like they have up at the park. You know, around up at the park, the seats just made at the start. Of course, later on, we got good seats and good to build good churches. But that way, that's the best you could get. Couldn't get it. This plank is straight up in box plank. Just made made our doors. The house that my father built, we made the lumber, sawed the lumber, stained them, and made the doors and everything. Everything in the house he made.
Was the town pretty religious then?
Well, it was. Many people went out to churches usually to the amount of people, you know. The amount of people they had. Was just like this. Now there's people them days that didn't go, they didn't care about church. But now the people that I had know anything about, we all went to church. My folks, we all went to church. The girls and all the people that I know, they went to church. I went 3 miles and forth to church. I rode horseback 3 miles to church. And back in the morning.
Would you tell me about the town? Was it pretty rough? Were there some rough guys in here?
Well, no, there wasn't then. Now later they were, but now later years it was. Of course, now there was when Buckeyes that years rough, and then Blues is rough. But that was all about the Newport now and then. They was awfully rough. But now, when I was a child and growing up, we never went out around Springer and out around there where we lived, there wasn't no rough stuff at all. You never see. Now out here, after I was married, then my guest is out there at close to Newport. We went down there to a country church one Sunday night. And that Baloo come in and poured his whiskey out on the church and shot them in there. On Sunday night, he lived in Newport, but that's where my address was back there. Last day. So all 3 of my, Edmund, Claude, and Jess was born in 4 states. And my other kids was all born. Every one of mine went to school here. Every child I had went to school. Everyone went to First Fort except B. B didn't go to First Fort.
When did they stop paying to go to school?
Well, honey, I don't remember.
Did your kids have to pay?
No. No, we didn't pay. As long as I went to school, we paid. As long as I went to school, we had to pay for it. No, my kids didn't. We didn't have to pay this place, isn't it? As long as I went to school, Papa had to pay for it. He had to pay for our school. And my sister helped teach my sister. And she was the best arithmetic there was anywhere. They went to scholars come to our house. The teachers couldn't teach them for her to teach us.
Did the Indians or Negroes, did any one of them go to school?
Well, I didn't know much, but there wasn't many Indians around here. There wasn't many Indians around Springer and out there. Now, there was one Indian boy, Joe Brown. He was raised out here, Gene Autry, out in there. He was a cowboy, and he was there. But he was going young man. He didn't go to school. We never seen no Indians out there at all. Later years, the Indians came coming. After all years, they'd stayed on all that thing, but we never seen an Indian. Well, on that nigger, he was 12 miles away. And he didn't, of course, after proving to be an Indian, he just went caboose on He had big fine homes, and he married 2 white men, and he has a boy grown. And my mother used to make pretty quilts for him too. What are you doing? I'm taking it as it's ready to.
This concludes our interview. I thank you very much, Mrs. Colman.
Thank you.